Welcome to Beyond Flat Earth. I am the Limitless, and I'm joined with the co-host with the most. Join us as we stay ahead of the curve. Take it away, Jay.
Well, welcome everybody. Sunday night, usually a scripture night, and we do have scriptures ready to read, but we always are trying to feel the pulse of what's going on in the flat earth truth community. And this whole behind the curve thing is really the hot topic. And finally we got to hear from Globebusters and get their response. You know, Bob and Jaron are the two people who are cited in this mockumentary that have supposedly proven rotation of Earth and curvature. And so we get their response today. And what did you think of it?
To be quite honest, it was sickening. I was triggered multiple times. I don't mind admitting it. It's just when I listen to somebody repeat lies and deception and completely contradict themselves with every second sentence, it is one of the most frustrating things, because we're just after the straight truth. You know,
yeah, that willful, intentional, just lie, double down, triple down. It doesn't matter. Just all in, full line, all the time.
Yeah, lie. And, you know, you can tell now there are multiple levels of deception that they've got weaved. There's so many things that's like they don't let any. Yeah, Yahawah's daughter says, you guys will always be ahead of the curve, you know, and the only reason why that is because we pray to the Creator that He opens our eyes to all truth through the Holy Spirit. That's what we don't have a Rebbe or a rabbi or a preacher or a minister. What we have is the Holy Spirit as our teacher. His Spirit leads us into all truths. I want to give a huge shout out to Rachel, was the first one to show up today in the chat after, of course, the host with the most awake souls. Then we got Ilias Tisporius. I don't think I said the last name right, but I tried. Tisiborius. It's a cool name. And Yahawah's daughter joining us. I got to hit the share button. So what did you think? I also have a couple of small clips to point out with the whole behind the curve. I don't know if Dean Odell was in that documentary, but you know, his crew's got a whole thing moving as well.
Yeah, there's that going on. Today was it was a bit overwhelming. It was so much just satanic garbage, and trying to keep up with it all, it was just like, it really had a brain burn to it. There's only so much of it I can stomach, and then it seems to actually even affect my body. Plus, I'm still getting over being sick, and so I'm in like a weakened state and trying to deal with this. But you and I, as we're paying attention to what Globebusters were doing as far as their damage control today, we're literally every 30 seconds, every minute, bam, that's a lie. And we could see how they've flipped and distorted everything. And we kept a number of tabs. And so tonight we're going to go through some of those tabs and cover that. Like you said, there's other stuff. I think you're referencing Dean Odell and that whole scenario. And yeah. So one of the things that I want to ask everybody here, and hopefully I can get some responses from the chat. Hopefully some people that hear this video in the future will actually type a comment in, and I want to hear from you. But when it comes to this behind the curve mockumentary, who else in Flat Earth is calling out these people that sold out Flat Earth? I don't hear it. The closest thing I can think of is Bro Sanchez let Ronnie and I come on and get to ask Bob some questions. That was huge. But I didn't really hear Bro come out hard against the documentary. I think he said, what?
He sided with Bob.
Yeah.
It was a hit piece, they keep saying.
It was a hit piece, but it was created by Mark Sargent, Patricia Steer, Daniel, whatever his name is, Bob Nodell, Jaron. These people created this hit piece. They made up these scenes, faking that there's been rotation measured, and faking that curvature has been found.
And they've got trifold and quadrifold dialectics going, like right down to the point where, you know, they had so many cameras, Jaron didn't have to document his experiment, thus therefore creating a conflict of interest about him getting the actual proof to prove that they did make it a hit piece against him, because he didn't have the, you know, the videotape of the person at the other end, or even the clips before and after when he said, oh, well, that's interesting, when the guy was like holding the light as high as he could because there was a curve of the earth there, right?
There's no evidence for anything. There's no evidence.
Right down to Bob's experiment, where it was, you know, he wasn't literally involved in it, where, you know, throughout the documentary, it clearly sounds like Bob was implying that he encased it in bismuth, like he was there at the shop as they were testing it, and then we turned on the magnet thing that threw it out. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some interesting reveals tonight on dithering and all the slithering lies that Bob and Jaron try to weave. And the Morgile and Iru are just really, really, they look like, you know, retarded henchback, like, you know, that 300 scene where the guy was crippled and he ended up being the Judas. That's exactly what these people look like. They don't even know it. They don't know how mangled they look because of the words. They keep saying that it was a hit piece against us, but, you know, if it was a hit piece, how is it that Bob was hot mic'd talking about how bad this experiment that he did was going to be for the flat earth?
I'm Bob. We talked about that on Globebusters.
So, okay.
That's his answer.
And can I ask you something, Jason? When we go to look for that video right now, what's going to happen?
I talked about it on Globebusters.
No, there's no video. They put all their videos on private, right? You can't even, it never happened. He said that it was classified and that you had to go to Denver to find out what was happening, because that's when he was bringing out Denver. We were going to have the first ever live screening of it off of the, you know, they all knew it was going to Netflix. It wasn't a secret or anything. These guys are just such bad liars. And we're going to,
I want to hear Bob's real explanation. Not the answer that, oh, we talked about this on Globebusters, because we don't have that. We want a clear, concise answer to the hot mic. That right there gives you away completely. Like,
and he admitted it. I knew I was mic'd.
Come on, that's a staged scene. You are making a hit piece against Flat Earth. You were playing along part of it. There's absolutely, completely undeniable the fact that the whole rest of everything that you guys talked about today is absolutely negated by the fact that you were actively a part in creating that hot mic hit scene against Flat Earth.
And not only that, Jaron specifically had to do his experiment twice because he couldn't get the good enough result the first time. Jaron, you are a part of it too. Right down to the point where you said you had to sign off all your rights to everything. Why would anybody do that? Like, you and Bob specifically, and they're playing the victim. They're the only ones that were portrayed bad in the movie as well, right?
Oh yeah, the victim card is out of this world. I can't fathom playing a victim card. I don't know that I've ever played a victim card in my entire life. But to have those guys where it's so obvious that this has all been done as part of this whole AE map model. It's a whole group of people. People are really able to see now that this is a network of channels that only supports each other, that there is an agenda at play here. Once you've looked at it long enough, you can see that what they're trying to do is to tie the Bible to that AE mappa model, the Freemason, impossible, so that way they can discredit the Bible and eliminate flat Earth all in one swift stroke. This is a satanic plot that goes back to this being the Great Deception, heliocentrism that's been around for some 500 years, whatever. This is all about trying to hide the creator, all of that. It's biblical. It is biblical. And I just want to keep reminding people, see, when we're dealing with like the Globebusters and stuff like that, it's really sort of like the secular part of the truth that we talk about here. But Ronnie and I are always taking it to the biblical. And even right now on the cover of Drudge, on the left-hand side, like the top, I think maybe 4 headlines. Just let me show you a quick. This is all biblical. This is the cover of Drudge right now. And the first one over here is, Are we on road to civilization collapse? Scientists fear end of mankind. Then biblical locust plague.
I saw that. Set
to hit Egypt.
I've seen that, yeah.
And then a 40-foot cross divides community. So if we've got all the, globe earthers, which are, the heliocentrists, they don't believe in God, but yet the top headlines right here, it's Christianity, it's the Bible, and it's the times that we're living in right now, this biblical locust plague.
Yeah, it's taking over there,
eh? Have you seen the...
Yeah, I've seen a few clips. A couple of days ago, I read a couple articles on it real quick. I haven't seen any footage, though, no. That's great. Those are locust swarms?
Well, yeah.
Got no sound.
Yeah, I didn't have the sound on.
Or to the left. I guess from all the flooding, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is my mic popping when I speak loudly?
Not really.
Just sounds like that in my headphones. Yeah, we sometimes have swarms like that of shed flies. They're like, they look like grasshoppers with wings, similar to these. We have these in Canada, and then they like stick to the house, and then they like, I don't know, they either fly out of that or they just die. They like shed their skins, those flies.
Yeah.
Must have had them in Wisconsin.
Well, we had lake flies, which
that's what we're same ones, yeah. Right?
Yeah, but these are like locusts. These are like big grasshopper size guys.
Huge, yeah.
You could hear them.
Oh yeah. Sure that wasn't in Gaza with the drones? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so the point is that this is
happening in Mecca.
Yeah, well, and this is biblical. And in the fight that we're going through right now, exposing Bob and the people behind the curve documentary, it's all biblical as well. This is the flat earth is a part of the truth, right? So it's not like it's a necessarily a salvation. Okay, so let's address salvation issue for just a second. If we know that salvation only comes through our faith in Yahawashi and his redemption for us. But to be a true follower of Yahawashi, we have to be for all truth. So once something's revealed as being false, impossible, a lie, or something like that, can we be for it anymore? We have to reject all falsehoods, right?
That's a no. Can't be for any lies.
Yeah. So once you know the earth is flat, then you just got to be for flat earth. And then also, you know, us true Christians, the people that believe in the Bible, that are following it, that are willing to accept big truths like flat earth and stuff like that, we have to also call out and reject and expose the Satanists whose sole intent of this flat earth psyop, the AE map model, was to discredit the Bible. So we're going to have to, Bible believing, truth seeking individuals, we're going to have to stand up to throw out the behind the curve type people. And you know, Ronnie and I are going to do what we can to show you all the lies and deception that we see. And I'm at this point where I'm watching the community to see who's going to stand up and say, hey, this behind the curve thing, this was really stupid and bad. And it's obvious that these people were out to ruin flat earth, and they're the ones that run the conventions, and they're the ones that are on the mass media. These are the psyop. These are the COINTEL. These are the Satanists, right? Because this is all biblical, really. It
yeah, it totally is, without a doubt. Something else was funny today. I guess I could play something funny real quick, and then we can get into the links. Don't know if we'll get to the scriptures tonight. Hope we do. Have you seen this footage? Iran is now into the launching their nukes. And this is being used, and everything tonight's being used in the 107 Fair Use Act, right? For educational purposes. We don't monetize anything, but check this out.
Of its major drills in the country's south. The drill's spokesman said that this is the first time that Iran launches an anti...
Do you see how bad that footage was? Let's go over it in slow-mo one time. Watch the cuts. We got, what is this? We're in like a submersible.
That's the rocket underwater coming up.
Yeah, I know, but this isn't the sub though. That we're right? Like this isn't a. I love that cut. I love that cut. You know, because they obviously let something go, and of course, something that's filled with air will rise to the surface. It's not going to take off, but they have to cut, right?
Yeah.
Right here. It's clearly not. It wasn't coming out of the water.
No, it was.
So then what they did was they filmed a scene where they blew something up here, and then they put a boat out. And maybe they did launch something off of a boat. Maybe. And it could all be CGI. It's looking pretty shady, the horizon there. Looks a little pixely, eh? Watch the lines.
Where's the big orange thing that was supposed to be coming out of the water?
That's there somewhere. It's gone. There was no missile. There was no missile.
Look at that big orange thing. All of a sudden, no orange thing.
That was really funny.
Watch here. The camera guy never is lined up.
It came out of there way too fast. Watch again. Looking on this right here. Watch. Okay, people, these types of weapons are a hoax. Okay, don't be duped any longer. They've used bombs and missiles as fear porn. You want to get over with Dean real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this was closer to the end of his video today, exposing or sort of teaching Freemasonry. I want to go over this, and then there's one other clip where he shows inside of a Freemason hall, and I just want to bring it to everyone's attention how it's the laurel wreath, the fasces, the woven up wheat that goes around or whatever it is around the symbol. But let's listen to what Dean has to say here, and we're going to see if Dean is a hypocrite.
Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who died on that cross.
Nope, too quick.
From the dead is paramount above everything else we do. Okay? Well, afterwards, it got a little nasty in a group text message. And Rob Skiba was on that text message, and Robbie Davidson was on that text message, and Rick Hummer, and John Gabrielson. Oh, yeah, I'm naming names. And Matt Long, but Matt Long agreed with me. But basically, the message was from Rob Skiba, Gabrielson. Gabrielson said, we don't need a Billy Graham crusade, talking about future conferences. Robbie's the one that started the conversation, and I have all the, matter of fact, I've put all those screenshots of that text conversation in a PowerPoint, so it's getting ready to go. So anybody dare call me a liar? It's coming, Chief. But what I'm getting at is, the message was clear. We need to water down the Christian message. We need to weaken it. We need to water it down. We need to tone it down. And that was the message. Well, see, the Lord had already told me at the end of the conference in 2017 that I was not to go to Denver.
Okay, right there. Red flag. Red flag. Flag. So what we have here is, for a lack of better terms, a YouTube incestual circle jerk. Coin, not to steal the phrase from anyone that's smart or anything, Jay. I just wanted them. I had to get that out there. So he's saying that after the current conference and rally, he knew he didn't want to have anything to do with them in Denver. So what the funny thing is, let's keep going. I just want to point that out.
Now, I made public very clearly in that text message to Robbie and to the others, and as the year progressed, you can't be putting forth the Zen Garcias and the New Agers and the anti-God people and letting them get up there and spout this stuff. As a Christian, that can't be the end result of your conference. And I was assured that it was going to be better. Words are just words. But Denver was worse.
You know what he's not bringing up? He's not bringing up Behind the Curve. That was the documentary that whole team made. Has no Christianity in it whatsoever.
But he really devoted a huge amount of his time to educating people about Freemasonry.
Yeah, that was most of the hangout. This is just the end. Good point.
The FE, Flat Earth International Conference in Denver, put forth Karen B., who went on for over 20 minutes talking about transcendental meditation and all kinds of New Age hocus pocus. You had Marty Leeds, who says Jesus is the literal sun in the sky, and deep into numerology, a Kabbalist and occultist. What's he doing up there? What's Dave Murphy that says Jesus is a myth? What's he doing up there? What's Zen Garcia doing up there? How did we go from North Carolina and end up in Denver worse? Especially after the conversation we had.
There's one name he didn't throw out there that was at the conference, though. Can you guess that name?
I don't know, I'm foggy tonight, remember?
Yeah, I'll wait. Let's see if the chat. I'll wait.
It wasn't like we didn't talk about it. So what the Lord has been telling me is, it's not what you say. It's not even maybe a little bit of fruit here and there. What is the overall? What are you producing at the end of the day? Let me tell you something. A blaspheming Zen Garcia Gnostic will never stand in this pulpit to preach or teach you.
Got that?
Nor will a perverted gospel of going back under the law, like Rob Skiba, ever preach from this pulpit.
Yeah.
Or a Karen B. New Ager. Why?
You know,
Because-
I can't. I got to tell you guys, his confidant and brother, and the only one that he praises,
Oh,
who is it?
Nathan Roberts.
He was at the Denver conference. So Robbie's so satanic, yet he has your number one guy, the only guy that you respect. Matt Long was also there, was he not? Or no, was he not in that one? I think he was.
Well, the reason why I called this a circle jerk earlier is because his boy, Nathan Roberts, the guy that's got the Bible says flat earth, and he's got the idolatrous cross over everything. He's at the conferences, and everybody else is like wearing those shirts, supporting that Bible says flat earth, because that is what they're trying to do. Yep. Is connect the Bible to that AE map and model. That's
and the dome.
Yeah.
And
well, the dome is part of the AE map and model.
Yeah.
The enclosed world.
You're right.
But that's their overall mission, is to
lay right there is his icon.
Yeah, it's got dome, right?
DOM and the AE map and model.
But the DOM is highlighted like that so that you think you're mentally jump to conclusion to dome.
Dean Odell Ministries. And I've also heard that it's Rosicrucian or Jesuit type Vatican. There's dogma that goes along with the dome word as well. But he continues to expose some more people. Let's listen a little bit more.
Because the moment I give you or anybody a platform from my place of authority, the platform God's had me establish, that's me endorsing that. Period. End of discussion. You can make excuses for it all day long.
Is he taking a shot at us because we had Zen on? That's how I feel. I feel that we had Zen on, and I want to have him on again to talk about more of the doctrine that he teaches, because Zen has pushed the boundaries on a lot of extra canonical biblical scriptures that have mean so much to me, myself, and to so many other people that found sustenance in food that you don't fulfill or teach. You don't go far as past as that 66 book King James Version Bible that you worship. That's it. What do you think?
Well, he doesn't apparently doesn't have the strength or the knowledge to be able to sift through COINTEL information and take out the nuggets of truth and eliminate the lies and deception.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's what a good researcher's got to do that has a solid foundation. You have to, but he's not working for the right team. He's literally trying to promote the AE map and model.
Well, he's leading this presentation here in a certain direction. It's going to become obvious. His ultimate background program is, mapping the AE map model to the Bible. But let's keep going.
But the fruit has been of what's going on in the so-called flat earth movement has been so-called Christians putting forth and putting on platforms anti-Christian and demonic deception. That's been the end result of it. And I was told by a lady, I won't name her name, but she said that she had, in 2014, she had a cousin who was both a high-level Freemason and in military intelligence. You say, well, can we trust this guy? Well, maybe not, but what he said has actually proved out to be true.
Oh, for sure.
He said in 2014 that basically the truth of flat earth would come out, the truth of creation would come out. And he told her that there were already people in place to steer it.
Yeah, he's talking about himself right now, his whole crew.
To steer it into what?
Yeah, Patricia Steer, Rob Skiba, Dean Odell, Zen Garcia, David Weiss, Mark Sargent, Pat Steer, Rick Hummer, everyone, Matt Long, David Wolf,
Nathan Roberts, Nathan Thompson.
Your whole team, yes.
Kabbalah, Torah, law keeping.
You know what? The law keeping is barely in the flat earth movement. Rob Skiba, who barely even came out as a flat earther, still says he's testing the globe. Like, wake up.
Working on seed, which is spelled real satanically, right? with
all
the
about the Nephilim and the fallen angels and the Watchers and the Genesis 3:6 or whatever, 6.
he's not even taken as a serious voice in flat Earth at all.
No, he in the beginning he did bring out some great scriptures and he did some decent work, which all COINTEL shills have to do. He knew that the AE map didn't work because he tried to model it up way before the flat Earth was even really big. I was around. I caught it all. He deleted all that stuff. He made his model. He made his dome. He had to make it square with 4 corners, right? But he encapsulated the bubble AE round Earth in there. But let's keep going.
Well, he did. Let's also not forget he made some major disinfo pieces like the Chicago skyline.
Yes, that's a huge piece. And I think he was also involved in it's a mirage.
Yeah.
They paid that newscast to do the bit. And they also had that guy, friend of Yahweh, who was in the media, who probably was the one that orchestrated all of that. They also faked the 24-hour thing in Antarctica. They had a big spoof. They did a few things with Rob.
And he's created some bad representations. One of the big things with the AE map and model is how could you have underlit clouds, right? The sunrise, sunset, the clouds are underlit at those time periods. When the AE map and model, that would never happen, except Rob has the explanation of how this could possibly work. And it's one of these super falsified at home type experiments. And it's what all the shills use and, that are promoting the AE map and model. If somebody says something, all of a sudden it's, well, here's the Rob Skiba answer.
And it's a magnifying glass that he drags. He drags an image backwards in front of a magnifying glass, and he tilts it backwards as he's doing it to enlarge. It's just absolute witchcraft. But let's keep going.
Gnosticism, numerology, the occult, anything to steer this truth of creation from the Bible.
No.
To people waking up to the truth that the Bible, it's a flat earth book. But we're going to steer them. We're going to try to steer this awakening.
The Bible is true earth reality book. It does not say anywhere in the book flat earth in that 66 book canon. Nowhere.
Well, so you come to the conclusion through the fact that Earth's not moving.
Earth is stationary and it's likened to a field. It has 4 corners. The sun has a circuit.
If Earth is stationary, right, then the sunrise and sunset mean that the heavenly bodies, the celestial lights, are what's moving, that we're stationary. So that eliminates the whole globe possibility. But you get to that conclusion through the fact that Earth is stationary. It doesn't say Earth is flat.
In the book of Enoch, I think, Logan 52, it does. It says the earth shall become flat. Like one other scripture says, shall become like a leaf of paper. Or like a leaf, flat like a leaf. There's a bunch of times that they've doctored it and misused it, but we'll keep going.
Into the New Age, into the Kabbalah. And you're going to find out it runs deeper than this. The rabbis, years ago, planned all this to send out.
So I don't really know who's bringing the Kabbalah into flat earth. I know we had Liz on because we grilled her hard on the Kabbalah. Anyone can go and watch that. And Nathan did a video, remember, where he used the thumbnail from our hangout, but played a different hangout of Zen Garcia's on top of that to try to make it look like we were saying things that we weren't.
Yeah, well, we had somebody come on where we wanted to ask some questions about the Kabbalah. But what we really came to the conclusion is that it was Jewish Satanism
Or witchcraft or the modern day science, really the foundations of modern day science. And what do we call modern day science? Satanism.
Right.
It's everything that's not true. So I don't know if he's taking another dig at us. And I think that's what he's doing, because we know that it's the ancestral circle jerk that they have got going on. And I'm going to show you guys in a minute. Let's keep going.
Fake Christians to bring Christians back under the law so they could eventually get them to diminish who.
So now he's talking about like Adam, the parable of the vineyard. Parable of the vineyard barely even has anything to do with flat earth. Nothing. He has this whole other movement. He's actually been reading extra canonical scriptures, lots of them, with emotion, with love for the creator and for Yahawashi, who he calls Yeshua, and he says Yahuwah. Right? I'm going to stand up for Adam right now against Dean and say that I rebuke you, Dean. How dare you speak against these young men who are seeking after the Father's heart? They are putting the scriptures back into place. They aren't telling you what the Bible says, like you're standing up here doing with a scripted, fake, rise, crescendo, and decrescendo style preaching that's fake, that we all see through, where you get real quiet and this, and then when you get to raise your voice. We know all about all those tricks, Dean. And it just burns me when I see him calling out someone like Adam. We had our issues with Adam because he had Rob Skiba on. We told Adam that Rob Skiba was a Satanist and he was a deceiver and he was full of lies, and we stuck to our word and we followed up. And after that, I've seen Adam work really hard on his channel. I've seen him go through many people because they've told bad doctrine, and he's cut them off his channel, except for Cherry. I still like Brother Cherry. Love Brother Cherry. But no, Dean Odell, I rebuke you in the name of Yahawashi right now. Stop trying to scare people away from following the Lord, and the commandments, that what they feel. That's not what a pastor does.
My take on this guy is he's a Freemason, and he's part of this network of conference goer, like speaker. This is like his livelihood. Go from this conference, and he's got a fake fight with these guys, and the next thing you know, they're all going to be at his next conference, and then Roberts will switch teams, and all of a sudden Thompson will join his, and it's so incestuous. It's ridiculous.
Well said.
Jesus is, and get them back under Judaism, starting out with the Noahide laws, and then get them fully back under Judaism. So a lot of these people are well-funded, paid plants.
There he is.
It's the way it is. And they weren't counting on God.
Hey, who is a paid funded plant? Like you, Rob Skiba, Jaron, Bob, Nathan Thompson? We say names with evidence. We don't just come out here and someone's trying to steer the movement. We say Pat Steer, Patricia Steer, that maybe tranny, possibly is a man being a woman, is steering the flat earth movement off a cliff. They already did it. But he doesn't say it. He talks so behind the breath. He's going to sink himself a little bit more. Jason?
Go ahead.
Flipping this little preacher from Alabama to be the monkey in the wrench.
So he's taking the credit. You've done nothing. Nothing.
The pain in the proverbial.
Called out nobody.
You know what? That'd be me.
You haven't done anything.
That'd be me.
You are literally one of them.
Even when they invited me in, they didn't count on the fact
You invited him in.
that I wouldn't bend to the pressure,
So they paid him and brought him to conferences.
to the popularity, to the notoriety, to the possible,
Had him on their podcast.
that I wouldn't bend to their deceptions. No. Saw what it was very early on.
Really?
Gave some people that I thought might be real and just struggling the benefit of the doubt for a while. But tested the spirits, tested the fruit, tested the message.
Tested it.
Tested where they're trying to
You thought
steer.
Robbie Davidson? Come on, none of it even has a sense of credibility that that these are all actual Christians, trying to lead a biblical flat Earth. That is just laughable.
Never been that.
And it's become very clear
Talking real quiet now.
where it's all been going. So, happy Sunday.
Wow.
See, we had a little saying back when I was growing up here in Opelika in high school. So we'd say to each other, scared, say scared. Because, you know, we challenge each other and dare each other to do all kinds of things. Sometimes we get fed up. We'd be best friends. We get fed up with each other. It's all right. We're putting the gloves on. We're boxing. We used to box each other.
That's what you wish.
Say scared, say scared.
Oh yeah.
I can box. I boxed.
I ain't scared.
I'm not scared.
I ain't scared to tell the truth about all this stuff.
Okay.
Jesus
He's not telling any truths.
is more important.
Yes, yeah.
And the gospel and what it means to be saved and how we're saved and how we walk that out is more important than any other truth in the Bible. And I thank God for people like Nathan Roberts, who's been willing to see this, not from me, he did it on his own. They keep wanting to try to, you know, they try to badmouth me, and then they try to say, you know, Nathan's my disciple. Let me tell you something, Nathan's his own man.
And Nathan is yoked up with them. He's at all their conferences.
He's a speaker. He's selling his shirts there. Everybody's wearing his shirts.
Sometimes I look at him and go, whoa, I can't keep up with him. The Joker's younger than me, staying up at 3 and 4 in the morning making videos. I'm like, I can't do that stuff every day anymore. No, he's not my disciple. You know what it is? We just happen to agree on the correct version of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we're not going to compromise it for flat earth celebrity or money or position or speaking engagement or supporters. Not going to do it. Don't care.
No, we're going to have my own conference.
Roberts is such a sellout.
Oh, yeah.
So crazy. Anyway.
He was at the Denver
Let's stay on
conference.
this more.
So not only that, but he threw under the bus Robbie Davidson, Zen Garcia. He just had a conference less than 4 months ago. 4 months ago, he threw this guy right here. Nate Wolf. I guess he was somewhere in here. Threw him right under the bus. Threw him under the bus. He's not even in this video. But he was at the conference. All these people, they were just at his conference.
Make sure everybody sees that again.
Like, all these people. Nate Wolf. Well, he's Rick Hummer. This was just a joke when he had this guy on. He said Matt Long stands with him, even though Matt Long is like best friends with Skiba. One lives in Dallas. Like, look alike.
Yeah, could be father and son.
Similar foreheads, but we don't know. But yeah, so he just named off a whole bunch of people, right? That is Nathan Roberts even in the comments. Wow, he's a real good disciple. But when we go to his channel, all the people that he just named, this guy's literally yoked up with like every other week. I don't get the two sides of the mouse that these guys talk through. It's just unbelievable. Like, look at how many satanic thumbnails this guy has. It's been a while since I was looking at it.
Well, every one of those with the cross on it.
Here's him at the Denver conference, flat smacking in Denver with the satanic hat. Which, oh yeah, that's right. Where was yeah, he literally, where was it here? Let me just refresh it so I can find that spot. He literally shows all the symbols, right? Teaches everybody.
Yeah, he goes in real depth.
Yeah, teaches about morals and dogma. He does if you want to become a Mason, he gives you the introductions. But he goes into some sort of a Mason hall here. Where is it? And I want to show you guys one of the symbols in there. If I can find it. He likes showing that he made a comic strip or something. Is this it?
Here in the right corner.
He's this is what I don't understand. Like, is he teaching people? Is this like, let's be Masons today? He's exposing the cross. It says cross. Look at this cross. See this cross on the Baphomet, everybody?
Yeah. There's a cross on the wall. Everybody's got crosses on their chest.
Oh yeah, this was the spot. He admitted that he had Templar training.
There's your Knights Templar, also your Baal cross. There's some more of your symbols in Freemasonry. This was the fraternity that I was in.
What?
Oh.
Pardon? Let me play that again.
Freemasonry. This was the fraternity that I was in. Sigma Chi. That was our motto, in hoc signo vinces, the Templar. So they were initiating.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. It's witchcraft, man. He just exposed it and told us that, yeah, he's a Templar.
This was the fraternity that I was in. Sigma Chi. That was our motto, in hoc signo vinces, the Templar. So they were
Says that pretty fluidly.
initiating us into Freemasonry in the fraternity, but I never went through the initiation.
Oh, yeah, he didn't inhale.
Right.
Before I went through the initiation, but I read the book.
What? That was weird how he said that.
But I never went through the initiation. I left before I went through the initiation, but I read the book. So if you're in one of the fraternities,
I read the book though.
or sororities, you don't know, but you're being put through indoctrination and rituals of Freemasonry and witchcraft. That's another thing. If you've ever been in a fraternity, you need to break some curses and oaths. And the part of the initiation, see, and I found this out and I wasn't supposed to know it, but part of the initiation in Sigma Chi is when you go through the initiation, it's basically a seance that calls up the seven founders.
He didn't go through it, but he's going to tell you everything that happened to, that happens to you when you go through it.
Right.
Fraternity.
Oh.
And I told that to one of the older brothers in the fraternity when I went back to visit after I rededicated my life to the Lord. And I told him, I said, I know what happens in the ritual. And how would I know? Because I hadn't been through it. But when I told him, his jaw was on the floor.
How would I know? Because I hadn't been through it? What?
But the guy's jaw hit the floor.
Wow.
How do you know that? I'm like, don't worry about how I know it.
Hear that again?
True.
Look
your
at
face.
that again.
He was like, how do you know that? I'm like, don't worry about how I know it.
Don't worry about how I know that.
I know it. How do you know that? Don't worry about how I know it. You just told me it's true. By your face.
Wow. Okay, where's the part now? I'm really glad I went back into this.
Just a rejection of Jesus.
Look at this symbol. So now he's saying this is an upside down cross. It just looks like a cross with like a pendant on it or something. And he's trying to turn it into an upside down cross.
It probably is an upside down cross.
No, it's got a pendant on top of it. It's a regular shaped cross with something circular sitting on top. Can you see it?
Yeah.
He's just trying to make this crop up. Look at this cross, exactly like the one he has on his pulpit.
Christ in Christianity, it means human sacrifice in the process of that. Especially when you see it red. There it is.
See? Look at how exaggerated the line is.
Christ in Christianity, it means human sacrifice in the process of that. Especially when you see it red. There it is.
Like it's way above it.
Is that an upside down cross? Or am I crazy? And I just noticed that. I've been working on this a while. I just looked, when I zoomed in on that picture, I was like, that's an upside down cross. I just found it last night.
It wasn't there.
And of course, you know what that is.
Now we know what
Stone
that
bones,
is.
Yale. Yeah, don't tell me. There's a bell.
It's such a weird style to put on the end of for a window casing. To put a skull and a bones embedded in the wall? What?
It's really sick.
Wow.
Cross right beside it. So we got all kinds of stuff going.
Go ahead.
But we are getting close to 322.
Yeah, we are. Oh, maybe that's what that was put there for.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, me too.
On here. This is Freemasonry. And you want to tell me you can participate in this, or your ancestors can participate in this, and it doesn't bring the curse of witchcraft and sorcery on you? Better wake up. And stars in the firmament. This was unearthed. They're Masonic.
Now he's telling you they got truth.
Ago. Again, you see
see here? Here's the Masonic Bible, and this is the dome, he says. Literally just his stars. Yeah.
Upside down cross up there, but see the bell crosses here? Now, this is an old Masonic Bible. And a
Probably
guy
Nathan Roberts, right?
from, what was his name? Was it Jesse that came? Jesse from Idaho brought a Masonic Bible. And I actually took some pictures. It's quite amazing. It's the Bible,
Just happened to have one.
but then they
Brought to
fill
me.
it front and middle with
These are Masons, Templars, Rosicrucians.
all their Masonic junk. But what I found interesting about this is, notice down here, they got the skull and crossbones on a Bible. They got the Star of Remphan on there.
It just means as above,
And,
so below.
But what I did find interesting was that they had
He
these,
knows all this stuff, doesn't he?
and the moon under the stars,
Look at
and the
this.
stars in the firmament like a dome.
Like a dome. Like a
There's
dome.
no dome there.
There's no
No
dome.
dome. Up here, this could be the glass floor that's made of light that the throne is upon.
There's a sun, moon, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars. That's it.
Yes, I'm out. Amazing. Amazing.
Huh. Remember, we know that they know. The occultists and Satanists, they know the truth about creation, and they just
Giving them credit, they know.
keep going. Look at there.
Where's
We're
this
not
one?
even
I
that-
just want to find this one more clip and then we can move on to Globebusters. There's one picture that he shows that maybe it was in the beginning. Let me just see. Maybe it was one of the first pictures that he showed. Yeah, a lot of
With the
crosses.
Leviathan underneath it.
A lot of crosses. Yeah, the serpent eating its tail. It goes through all kinds of witchcraft. I guess I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, he brings up this dragon's table. This is real bad, I guess. Is this it? Sorry, guys. I guess I thought I had the clip.
Yeah, sometimes keeping these clips in order is
Yeah, it's tough,
difficult.
right? When we
Yeah.
got so many. But yeah, might as well go on to Globebusters. We've given them enough time. But this guy's such a hypocrite at like,
what to summarize, what were the big highlights of what we learned about Dean Odell today?
what, me?
Yeah.
Well, that he was initiated as a Templar.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it though.
Don't worry about the initiation and all that.
Just when they open their mouths, what are the people in the chat? I guess Chief Crow got banned.
No, just a timeout.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Hey Derek, you were gone. Nice to see you back again. Huge shout out. Yeah, Eric May confirmed. Yeah, it's Hey Joe, Friday. Nice to see you. But go ahead, Jay. Why don't you take over?
All right.
Unbelievable. That guy, Dome. Such a hypocrite.
All right, so going on to some other satanic hypocrites, but not ones that claim to be Christians.
Nope.
Um,
Claim to be Satanists either, though, in our defense. So they're
but they absolutely refuse to talk about who created this world. Right? Nobody's been able to pin them down on a conversation. Here they're supposed to be top leading flat earthers, where a flat earth cosmology demands having a creator. So that would, as soon as you know the earth is flat, then the next most important thing is to figure out who created it. And they refuse. They refuse.
why are we here?
Yeah.
Right, once you figure out who created it, then he'll tell you why you're here.
And they just want to go on and on and on, never addressing the fact that there's got to be a creator, and what is it that we're supposed to be doing? What time period are we living in? All that kind of stuff. It's intentional. It's intentional. They're shilling for Satan. But so we got the Globebusters being the 2 stars of the mockumentary Behind the Curve, and both providing globe earthers supposedly with the evidence that they're looking for, yet they don't have any evidence to back up what's in the mockumentary. So this is supposed to be a documentary. It's supposed to be factual. It's now all of a sudden the narrative has changed today. Now all of a sudden they're calling it a movie. Jared and Bob just keep calling it it's a movie. It's a movie. It's, you know, this is just
Movie.
fiction, right?
It's probably in the documentary section on Netflix, though.
It's called a documentary. It's right behind the curve documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the damage control was terrible today, guys. The Globebusters really
Mockery today. Wow.
heavy duty mockery,
Literally laughing at the viewers.
in mental witchcraft. So hopefully people are coming to understand that witchcraft doesn't necessarily mean potions and, you know, pinch of a toad this and bat's blood that right in conversation, witchcraft takes place when a person mentally manipulates you in certain ways intentionally. And there was so much of that today, blatant contradictions back and forth, just within 30 seconds or a minute, you know, a person would just totally contradict themselves. You know, totally irrational thought processes, attempts at technical jargon and mumble jumble that, you know, they just blaze right through and they draw connections that aren't there. And so honestly, the whole hangout could be torn apart. You know, I think they went 3.5 hours or something. There's no way we can do all that, but we got a couple of clips here that we'll go through, and it should be enough to show people just how
Vile
these guys are.
You know,
Go ahead.
to me, ultimately, the only thing that matters is that these people know. My sole position on this matter is fighting for the truth. I look at fighting for the truth like the supposed American patriots. When you sign up for the military, you swear an oath to protect those that can't defend themselves. I look at the truth of our creation and creator the same way. And I can't take that out of who I am. If there's 5 people that watch this video that are edified and that actually, whoa, I can see that witchcraft. And that is my goal. And I want them to know that I will never quit each step of the way. As long as I'm breathing, I will always be standing up for the truth against these liars. And, you know, the word wizardry is going around, and whoever's calling wizardry, they're a cuck, because it's witchcraft, people practicing Satanism, right? Let's not start putting words in where they don't belong. Wizardry is witchcraft. A man can perform witchcraft, and so can a woman. And this is what Bob and Jaron and all of them thrive themselves. They all think they're witches. Jaron literally sold potions, sells potions for witchcraft.
An online store, yeah. Satanic witchcraft store. Him and his wife or girlfriend or whatever, they had a a witchcraft store.
Yes.
Literal witchcraft store. We've covered it. We've got the screenshots. Hour of Chaos says, did the creator go out of his way to remain a mystery? Well,
No.
it depends on the time period that you're talking about. Right, because there were time periods that you know, he wasn't revealed, and he did reveal himself, and he was really well known for a while. And then after he came as Yahawashi, you know, he was really well known. Everybody knows about Yahawashi / Jesus,
But they don't know about the mystery.
but they don't know about the mystery. So
What's the mystery?
what's the mystery?
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
It's the parabolic understanding of the higher level. The fact that Yahawashi was the Word, and the Word was God in the beginning, and the Word became flesh. So the Creator Almighty became a human, dwelt with us, and taught us the higher level parables. He was the Logos. He was the Word. He was put to the death. He was crucified. So were the scriptures, the old extra canonical scriptures, the Apocrypha that have been put back now. We've now stood on the foundation of the Creator's early scriptures, the Cave of Treasures, the Book of Enoch. There's many, 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 many that have been added to the great list. And the mystery was hidden. They hid this, and it's been about 2,000 years. And that's what we teach. That's what the Holy Spirit teaches us. We share it with you. That's it.
Nobody spells out what the mystery is better than Ronnie.
Well, Robert Farrell does a great job.
Nobody does it better than you, brother.
Oh, thanks, brother. I take the compliment.
So going through these clips, we can see the chat alongside here. Just pay attention to like how dumb, how literally retarded the conversations are in the Globebuster chat. There's nothing on topic. It's just a bunch of smiley faces and nonsense.
So I don't mind doing.
This is, keep in mind, this is part of a pre-show here. So apparently they had to do so much damage control today that they came out and did a
pre-damage damage control.
Yes. And then they just basically repeated these talking points again throughout their longer hangout. So there's just a couple highlights here.
Some kind of an interview or whatever, but at the end of the day, I don't think that I'll want to do something unless I can have some degree of creative control of the final product, because it's so easy to misrepresent us and take snippets of what we say out of context and make us look foolish. And that's no matter how careful you are and no matter how many caveats you put to your statements, they can still take it out of context. So I just, we got to be careful.
I think Rob Skiba said it best when he said any interview he ever does now, the rule is that he has to be recording it at the same time. And if I would have done that same thing, if I would have had somebody out there recording our observations, which at the time seemed ludicrous. I mean, I needed help with other aspects of it. And then there was this 4-person.
He thinks it would be ludicrous to have people recording the experiment that they're doing that's going to end up in a documentary.
You mean he's not documenting the experiment in any way? People, listen, Jaron is completely exposed. He didn't have one person writing anything down or taking any pictures of anything.
There's no notes. There's no footage. There's nothing of this.
No evidence.
We have zero evidence. And he is just going to give the excuse that, oops, he didn't think he was going to need it. He trusted these guys. They said that they would be fair. And they said we could have the footage, and they lied to me. So I'm the victim.
And crew with cameras and lights and everything. So I said, well, I don't need to record any of this because here's this documentary team recording it. Little did I suspect that they would be able to take an observation out of the middle, take my face saying, oh, that's interesting, and put it at the end of their movie as if
Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
Quentin Tarantino did the science documentary.
Yeah, so that's the hardest part. And then, the even bigger part, at least for me, and we'll talk about this on the show, is the fact that they originally had told me, and this was also in that statement, that originally they told me that I would be able to have the footage that didn't make the movie. And so, like I said, if somebody else would have been recording it, I'd be able to easily show, look, they took this little portion out of the middle and put it here at the end of their movie. Now, I didn't have anybody recording it, so that's not going to help. But they had originally told me I'd be able to have the other footage. Well, after the movie came out, and that was like a year later, right, a year after those observations, I said, okay, now can I have the footage? And they said, oh, it's in our Netflix contractual obligations that we can't release any of the footage. And I said, you've got to be kidding me. So, I mean, it's just so convenient for them.
Even though it wasn't going to be.
So convenient for them. It's so convenient for all of you that you didn't record it and that you're working with them. You set up this experiment. Like Ronnie said, this had to be done 2 times. The first time you didn't screw it up enough for Flat Earth, and they wanted to make it worse.
And not only that, but I told you like 3 or 4 years ago that you can't use a laser. You can only use a laser to measure something at 100 meters. That's it. I told you that. I build things with them.
It's all documented. Every one of his stupid experiments that he was planning to ruin Flat Earth with, we were calling out beforehand. This is just the one that they ended up going with for the mockumentary.
in the video.
Yeah, the video's already done, right? The movie's out. So all the other
Wow.
footage that they have, I said, well, let me have that footage because then I'll be able to show people what you've done. Well, of course, they're not going to give me that because it does exactly what I said it does. It'll prove
So-
that they've just lied in their movie.
How long did they spend actually recording you? At what, maybe was it more than an hour or two, or?
Oh yeah, that whole observation was probably from an hour before sunset.
Okay, let me rephrase that. How long did they spend recording you in terms of like interview wise, not all the stuff with the experiment, but just talking with you and asking you questions?
Oh
and
yeah,
responses?
they came in my house and probably I sat on the couch and the guy Daniel filmed me for probably well over an hour, and none of that footage made the movie at all.
Yeah, and they all
The only thing that got used was the failure, and that's all you did. You said you were with him for another hour. You know what?
That didn't make
doesn't make any sense. Let's go on to the next clip.
Yeah, so they've tried to come back and answer a few of my questions with, I asked them, why did you film my neighbor's house? And then try to make it look like in the video that it was my house. That seems, like
Right.
a low.
How ridiculous. Of course you didn't want your house filmed in the documentary, Jaron. He's like, this is such leading. It's everything that he told him to do. He then comes out and says, they did this to me.
Yeah, he got him to film his neighbor's house instead of his own. And you'll see that there's a mind control thing attached to it because this whole cat thing that comes up. Pay attention to this whole cat thing because one of the ways that the Globers are destroying the credibility of flat earthers is likening people to Pat Steer being a cat lady. Oh, it's just a crazy cat lady. There's a psychological MK Ultra connection is with cat ladies, cat people that have too many cats. They're generally considered crazies in this world. And listen to this and how it all ties together. John will end up using it, and he'll explain just how psychological witchcraft works. He gives a perfect demonstration right here.
And their excuse for that was they said, oh, well, if you look back at the video, at one point you say something about the laser being like a laser for chasing cats. So then they said, so then we cut to your neighbor's house where there was a bunch of cats. Like, oh boy.
Yeah, but it made you look like the crazy cat man.
Right, exactly. That's what I said. I said, well, anybody watching that movie, anybody other than me, would assume that was my house. That's the way you made it look in the movie for a reason,
For a reason.
So,
yeah, and they didn't show my house at all.
Right.
Which shows very nice.
Right, exactly. and even my house is nice. The house that I lived in before, I don't live there anymore, but the living room was nice where they came in and sat down. We don't live like,
So he's trying to draw some sort of distinction between people that have nice homes and cat people.
dirty cat people or something like that. So I don't know.
Well, come on, I love cats, but I don't have any at the moment. I think the most cats I've had at one time was 6, but that was because
I don't know how he kept it as low as 6. I mean, if you're out to really tarnish people right now, how come it's not like 16?
66.
66 cats. That's at one time, right? Just at one time.
because my cat had kittens, and so we got rid of, we took sold like 5 of them or gave away like 5 of them.
Oh yeah, my neighbor had about 6 cats that I think she knew of, and then there was about 20 that were
20.
always straying around, and the neighbors across the street would always have to set up like traps and then take them to the SPCA, and it was a nightmare. But
it is subtle things like that, which, because you already know what the connotations or the sort of subliminal suggestion is to all those cats, and so they are very good at using these sort of subtleties to implant really quite profound ideas into people's minds subconsciously. I mean, like,
it's exactly what they're doing right now.
That's what Globebusters is trying to do to their duped followers that are still taking, this was a hit piece. They clipped, listen, they didn't edit anything in that wasn't said. They didn't create a clone Bob. I'm going to have to keep repeating this. Everything was scripted. The whole thing.
Well, and look at the chat. The chat is scripted right now too. You've got haha dirty cat people. You've got cat hater, and then look at the Jewish guy. Effed use. No cat bashing, Jaron. Cat earthers, right? This is
yeah, that's what they did. They Beeloo, Bigfoot, Beeloo.
Yep. And
this is just the beginning, people. This is just warming up.
Yeah.
Like another good example would be if you watch a movie where there doesn't even have to be any word spoken, no line spoken. If you watch a movie where a guy sits down at a bar and starts slamming liquor, the subliminal suggestion is that he's going through stress and he's at the bar to get rid of stress. But, you know, this sort of subliminal programming really does lead, you know, it's led an entire generations to like alcoholism to deal with their problems, which is really a bad idea. But yeah.
So he's this whole cat section, subliminal programming. He just threw in a little jab at people with alcohol problems. He's trying to promote alcoholism. Is trying to draw connections. The mental witchcraft is just ridiculous.
And, you know, another thing that I want to bring up too, you never see any of these clown shoes. Oh, I shouldn't be ad hominems like them because that's all they have. You never see any of these people on camera. Why do they always hide? They're supposed to be these public people. You never get any sense of when you, like Jason and I make a point to be on camera all the time so that you can see our eyes and understand what we're saying. These people, never, nothing.
So that was the pre-show. Let's get into some of the regular hangout. And I think we have Bob here.
Getting back to what I was saying, as far as you know, my observations of these people that are coming onto my channel and in my comment section, and I'm sure that most flat earthers are getting this nonsense of oh, Globebusters, you know, prove the curvature and the rotation. The thing that absolutely blows me away is that this shows the utter desperation, guys, the utter desperation of the globe earth believers, because they are getting annihilated in debate. They are getting annihilated with proofs. They will not and do not go out and do any experiments that are showing conclusively that there is curvature, unless you want to, you know, call what Soundly does. Well, it's not an experiment, but it's a ridiculous observation that he draws entirely incorrect conclusions from. They are not doing anything like this, unlike, you know, the flat earthers, what Jaron was attempting to do, what Effie Core and Rick in particular was trying to do with the fiber optic gyro, what Dr. John D is trying to do in his experiments. We'll be covering that a little bit later on in the show. We are absolutely killing these people, and all they can say is refraction, bruh, refraction. You know, and not only that, they've got the entire.
So everything that Bob just spoke out of his mouth was a lie. They don't have anything. You're not killing nothing. You have no evidence for anything. You are no different than Kabbalist, fake, Einsteinian, Cavendish, Jesuit science. That's all you are. You're nothing.
Model of refraction wrong, backwards, completely backwards. It would work far better on a concave.
Oh, come.
Yeah.
Backwards, completely backwards. It would work far better on a concave Earth than on the convex one. But you know, that's a whole.
There's your top flat earther, people.
And keep in mind that FE Core has already said that they've measured concavity.
Yeah, you know where they did it? At the side of a mountain hill, probably, where there's a valley that's concave, right? It's so ridiculous. We can see through. We're so far ahead of the curve when it comes to these people. They literally are behind the curve, and they put it right first in their titles. You can really tell.
Whole nother story. But so they come in and, you know, they're proof, and they're absolutely rejoicing with glee because now all of a sudden Globebusters and Jaronism have credibility because of a
there's witchcraft. Their credibility has been destroyed. They were the two people in the documentary that proved the globe and proved spinning Earth.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden they spin it just a total 180. That they have credibility.
Wow.
They don't have any evidence for what's proposed in the documentary. Jaron just told us that there is absolutely no documentation. He didn't have anybody filming this. There's nothing to verify that it took place the way Jaron's saying it took place. And Bob has literally no evidence of this rotation. None.
Nope. And we asked him that. He answered none.
Well, they're not making it private, he said. Or public. They're not making it public.
Yeah, go back and check his old Globebusters, except they put all their Globebusters on private.
Yep.
Of a complete misunderstanding of what they heard on Behind the Curve. They completely misunderstood what I said when I made it very clear.
Just he's gonna make it very clear. All right, let's.
That somebody else had done the test. I did use the term "we," absolutely yes, but that's only because, like I said, in the context of FE Core, Rick is a member of FE Core. FE Core, by the way, did not purchase this gyro or anything like this. It was a private party individual all the way. We discussed it, for quite some time, but that's the whole thing. They completely took what I said out of context, then claimed that I proved the motion and rotation of the Earth, which was utterly wrong. And all you have to do is go back and listen to it very carefully. But
in the documentary, it says that he says there is 15 degrees of rotation.
Drift.
Yes,
he mentions it a number of times.
That's what he says.
Yes,
people are just taking them for
15 degrees drift per hour.
And then in a staged hot mic situation, he says if this information gets out, it would ruin flat Earth.
And that was the hot mic situation that he admitted that he knew he was mic'd.
Yes.
But they made a hit piece against him with his own exact specific wording. They didn't edit it. They didn't cut it up. They put it exactly the way he spoke it.
Yeah.
But that just shows, like I said, the utter desperation that the ballers have. I mean, they got nothing. They've got absolutely nothing. And they got nothing when they are citing flat earthers for their proof of rotation and curvature.
Oh. Oh, what happened?
I don't know.
Jumped. All right, I guess we'll go on to the next clip.
Just refresh it. Should go back. No. It's fine. Move on.
All right, let's see where we're at here.
Get back.
The person that first actually used this, especially to quote unquote prove Earth rotation, was Leon Foucault again.
Was it?
Yeah, about 175 years ago. And what he did is he claimed that there was a drift on it. And of course, we have never been able to replicate that even with our 21st century gyroscopes.
Did you get that?
Yeah. He just admitted that he's never.
It's never been
drift.
replicated. Yes. Let's go back here.
Yeah, about 175 years ago. And what he did is he claimed that there was a drift on it. And of course, we have never been able to replicate that even with our 21st century gyroscopes. And of course, the gyroscope.
See, it's never been replicated, people. There's no drift.
That he allegedly used is conveniently missing, right? But the powers that be would have people believe that nobody ever since Leon Foucault has been able to build a precise enough gyroscope that had a low enough bind on the gimbals that it would be able to detect the rotation of the Earth, which of course is nonsense. And tons of people have been doing gyro experiments, including myself. I have a $300 gyroscope. We have a guy in FE Core that just custom built an unbelievable gyroscope, and all of these return a net result of absolutely zero motion.
Zero motion. Done. Yet
That is true.
Yeah. Yet somehow in the documentary, he's telling everybody that 15 degrees of drift was measured. And he's standing by that, and he won't back down.
Nope.
Do you see the contradiction?
Yeah. I hope everyone else can see that.
Just a bold-faced liar.
Well, he's going to tell everybody that he wasn't using a gyro, that he totally misspoke, right? It was always an interferometer, a ring laser, and
it wasn't a ring laser. It was a this type, and he flips back and forth using what's the other term? There's ring laser gyro, which we'll get into. Well, maybe he'll say it.
Interferometer.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Don.
Laser and
No, I was just going to say, and whether or not it was gyros were used that old is irrelevant, but that's what I was.
Oh, it stopped playback on it, and I didn't touch nothing. Wonder if the links are aging out.
Just remember when you click on it.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to the next one. So this is. It doesn't really say though, because it's.
It's okay.
But all right, let me make this a little bit bigger. I remember this clip.
Yeah, we're getting down to the way that they've detected the ether.
Yeah, so he's going into some detail about this Michelson-Gale experiment, and
yeah, fiber optic is what you were looking for. Thank you, Jason. The rest.
Yep. So the dimensions of this were 2,010 feet by 1,113. And these are 12-inch diameter tubes with air evacuated. It's got the mirrors on the corners. And then with the light going through these paths here, they were trying to measure for the ether. Right. So here's the experiment that these guys did. And then this video here, this is the reason why, well, I'll just play
These fringes were used as a basis for the fringe changes when the light went round the full circuit. How did it work? In this diagram, I have exaggerated the size of the rectangle of the Michelson-Gale tubes to make it clear how it worked. The equator travels approximately 25,000 miles in 1 day's rotation. You can see that this speed decreases as the latitude increases. At 15 degrees of latitude, the circumference of that latitude is slightly smaller, so it only travels 24,150 miles in each day. The distance travelled per day reduces as the latitude increases, until it is 0 at the North Pole. Imagine...
Okay, and this is what I was talking about earlier, guys, about you change your latitude, and because there theoretically would be different rotational values on a globe, then it would also change the values that the fiber optic gyro would come up with. Now, in a flat Earth model, the same holds true. Because
no, Earth is stationary. Earth's not moving, and he's going to try to. Well, we're going to see that this whole thing is a sham in just a second. So I don't know how much we want to.
Yeah, totally. We'll continue to go on with it. But one other thing, though, this model here depends on the moving further south from the equator. The latitude line's actually shrinking, whereas the AE mapping model that you promote would exponentially grow larger, and that's not possible. It completely is against everything that you're saying the AE mapping model is.
Yeah, you just destroyed your own impossible Freemason model.
Yes.
Flat Earth model, if the ether is rotating above, kind of along with the star field and the sun and the moon and the planets and the stars and all that, then the same type of rotational velocity is going to be detected as you change your latitude. Okay, so it works the same both ways, and this is why, guys, you have people like Dr. Robert Sungenis out.
Yeah, how about the southern latitudes?
And shout out to the Vatican,
and even Malcolm Bowden here himself, that are geocentrists, saying that, well, no, the Earth is a globe. It's in the center of the universe, but it's not rotating. The
geocentrists are otherwise known as Jesuits.
Yeah, because their model falls on its face, because what is holding the water to the bottom of the ball if it doesn't have rotation and relativity?
It's stupid to think that we're on a ball that's just sitting there.
Still.
Yeah.
Not founded upon 4 pillars.
It's just stupid.
Universe is rotating around us, and of course there have been a number of astronomers and physicists throughout history that have admitted point blank, observationally, there's no way that you can tell the difference. And like I said, I would recommend the live hangout that Jaron did a couple weeks ago.
He's promoting geocentrism.
I've got it queued up here. I'll show it to you, and it'll also be in the show notes. Listen to that, and just listen to these people admitting this 100%. And these are the mainstream physicists, scientists, engineers. They're just flat out admitting it, point blank. So let's continue.
their tube south arm being at the equator and the north arm on the 30 degrees latitude. The light going round the tubes in both directions would experience a higher velocity of the ether going through the south tube at the equator than when travelling through the northern tube at the 30 degree latitude. When they were recombined, they would produce a different fringe interference pattern when compared with the very much shorter path using the calibration circuit. Although their rectangle was far smaller than this, it was sufficiently large.
All right. So I don't know that we have to listen to this guy through all this. I think the picture is enough to end this whole nonsense. All right.
Let's do it.
Well, you saw the drawing before, the 12-inch diameter tubes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's their contraption set up, and they're reflecting light through these enclosed tubes. How does that have anything to do with ether or rotation of Earth?
It has absolutely nothing to do with it. Nor is there any documented actual photography evidence. Where's the interference pattern? Right? Where is it? Show me the evidence. Where's the videotape of the experiment with the conclusions? Or else it looks like somebody did it with a ring laser gyro. I mean, an interferometer, but it wasn't me, but it was me in a bismuth container. I'm starting to see a pattern here with science. And Bob, you are at the front of it.
Yeah. So all of this is Bob is trying to attempt to support the notion of the ether being real, because he said that he's measured 15 degrees of rotation, but he's going to say, oh, it wasn't Earth that I was measuring, it was the ether that I was measuring. So he's referencing this. That right there is sitting on Earth. How on earth could that be measuring the ether moving?
It couldn't. Now, don't switch tabs yet. I think maybe click or right a couple of times, because there might have been something else valuable here.
I think so.
Going into the dithering. You might have to play first.
At the predicted 1 revolution per day. In their report, there is no mention of any conclusions they draw. They simply state the result. Here, surely we can conclude that there is an ether, and either 1, the Earth is rotating 1 revolution per day, or 2, the ether is rotating around us 1 revolution per day.
And they just stated it. They didn't have any evidence.
No evidence.
They simply state.
There's no ether.
Jimbo's right. That's probably like, because in Alaska, they have to do all their plumbing above ground. That's probably just sewage, man.
Yeah.
Or it's steam pipes to bring heat.
Could be.
And they're trying to pawn this off as some sort of they proved the Earth. The guys, do you not see what's going on here?
They proved the ether with this.
With this.
There's no ether.
It gets better.
We're on a flat stationary plane, and the luminaries rotate around us at 15 degrees per hour.
Stars.
Yeah.
And the sun and the moon.
Bob did not have his what was it?
Fiber optic
gyro attached to the luminaries. That's not what he was measuring. He was not measuring ether. There's no ether. It's a made up.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and again, exactly what we concluded with FE Core and or I should say Rick, and his fiber optic gyro. You can draw one of two.
Okay, you can slide across. Go on the clicker, and it was way ahead. You're way past there. I think you went too far.
Where was it?
Keep going.
Checks my channel and sees.
That's where he started.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
A little bit back. Yeah. That was where he starts to bring in this new documentary company.
In 1913, Staniak carried out a simple experiment of passing light in opposite directions around a table.
Do you want to go through the Staniak experiment?
Yeah.
Okay.
And recombining them. This produced interference fringes. He then rotated the whole table at 2 revolutions per second and found that the fringes changed. This result has very significant implications in science. It works as follows. A beam of light leaves the light source at the bottom left-hand corner and is split into two different beams, which we have coloured red and blue just to distinguish them. They travel around the circuit in opposite directions until they eventually reach the splitter, which also recombines them. There, they then go on to the photographic plate, where they have interference fringes. In this simplified version, we see that the beam is split into two, the red and the blue again, and they go around the circuit and are recombined at the splitter and recombining prism, so that they again produce the fringes on the photographic plate. Now let us rotate the table. Before we do so, there is the very important subject of the effect of the ether.
No.
The Michelson-Morley experiment failed
No.
to detect.
This has nothing to do with ether. That's the cognitive error right here. They just made that connection. There's no ether. They just made that up, and now all of a sudden they're trying to apply something to the ether.
Yeah, keep it going.
The 30 kilometers per second motion of the Earth through the ether. So to overcome this problem, Einstein simply abolished the ether in his relativity theory. The very significant result of the Sagnac experiment was that it proved that the ether existed. Let us see how it did this. It is a fundamental feature of relativity that it claims that as there is no ether, light travels away from a source at the same speed relative to the source, whether the source is moving or not. Thus, whether the table is turning or not, the fringe patterns should stay the same. But if the ether exists, once the light has left the source, the speed of the light is controlled by the ether, independent of the speed of the table, mirrors, etc., as we see here. So let us see what happens when we rotate the table. Here, the light is split, and the red and blue lights go in opposite directions. But notice that the left-hand mirror has moved around in such a direction that the distance the red light has to travel is further. Now in relativity, the same time should be taken because the splitter is also moving and the distance between them is the same. But now imagine that the ether exists and the speed of the light is controlled by the stationary ether. Imagine the ether like a thick treacle that limits how fast the light can travel independent of the motion of the light source, the splitter, or the mirrors. The result is that the red light takes longer to reach the left-hand mirror. Similarly, the right-hand mirror is coming towards the blue light, so it reaches the mirror quicker. After they change ends, the red light again takes longer to reach the recombiner, whilst the blue light gets there quicker again. So they reach the photographic plate with a delay between them, and this changes the fringe pattern.
Okay, I got a question for everybody
In fact,
here.
Sagnac.
I wonder if I'm looking at a cartoon. First off, where's the actual experiment with the table, and how do you see a blue and a red photon of light? How is that captured in reality?
Well, so this diagram and all this, it's confusing and it's hard to verify, but the ring laser gyro that we'll be going into in just a little bit, it makes this whole interference pattern way easier to understand. Way easier to understand. So it's how these ring laser gyros work. It's how it gives us the angular change when you twist it. I guess it's referencing this Sagnac effect, and but it's just so much easier to understand when you look at it, how it takes place in a ring laser gyro once we get to that.
Mm-hmm. I call BS.
Yeah, using the speed of the rotation of the table, calculated how much the fringes should change, and found that they did change by just that amount.
Oh,
the crucial feature of this experiment is that it demonstrates that the ether does exist, which demolishes relativity. How does a science...
All right. And indeed, it does demolish relativity. And Einstein himself said that if the ether was proven to exist, then relativity was a hoax. Well, not a hoax, he didn't say, but it is a hoax. Einstein, of course, was a fraud, and he was somebody that was built up by the mainstream as some sort of an expert, and he basically has set science back 100 years easily. So now let's take what we just learned about this ether and the fact that what happens when you rotate this plate and you have the ether acting like a thick treacle, as Malcolm says, basically...
Thick treacle.
Thick treacle.
It's made up crap. There's no ether.
Sets a fixed speed for the speed of light. Okay, and let's apply it to a piece of 21st century technology. So this is not a fiber optic gyro. This is a ring laser gyro. And again, the difference being that you have an open chamber that is reflected around inside of these mirrors, and then gathered up, and the phase differential is recorded. And obviously, when you're dealing with the phase of a laser light or a coherent light that is up in the nanometer scale, obviously it's going to be very, 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 very accurate. Okay.
Very.
How many times can he say very accurate?
Very, very many times.
Very many times.
What it's measuring as far as any phase differential. Of course, the problem is if the medium itself is moving, then they've got to compensate for that, because this device will absolutely pick that up. And that's why they have to do this calibration, not to compensate for the rotation of the Earth, but for the rotation of the ether. So now let's...
Witchcraft! Witchcraft! Bob just set himself up for a big failure. So what do we do, Jason, when we hear something that the scientists or Satanists say? What is usually the truth?
Flip it.
Flip it. So if he's saying that he has to add something to this experiment to make it work, what does that mean?
He's adding the rotation.
We need to take that away to get the true result.
Yep.
Let's go to the Aviation Channel's video of how this is working precisely, using the Sagnac effect, which uses the ether, which Einstein said didn't exist, but yet we've got all of our 21st century technology built upon it. Let's hear what they have to say. Here we go.
It is a completely new principle to us, and it depends on a property of light known as the Sagnac effect. Suppose that we have a circular tube and that we can send light round it in both directions.
All right. So this is the good understanding of what wasn't making sense or was hard to understand in that whole Sagnac beam splitter. This one's much easier to understand. Just the light being sent both directions.
If the tube is stationary and we start both beams at the same time, they will arrive at the same time. However, if the tube rotates during the passage of the light beam traveling in the same direction as the end...
You see how easy this is? If you rotate it, just like your picture a compass, you give it a twist, right? It measures the time differential, and it's going to create
the tube takes longer to arrive.
Interference pattern. We'll get to that.
And the one traveling in the opposite direction takes a shorter time. We can measure this difference in light path and use it to detect rotation. In practice, it is difficult to make light travel on a circular path, but the same effect is achieved using straight light paths reflected by mirrors into a triangular pattern. Also, in practice, when dealing with the speed of light, it is not possible to measure such small differences in time. We can, however, measure a frequency shift between the two beams. The ring laser gyro utilizes the Sagnac.
Free WT, the explanation for the timing is right here in the frequencies, and you'll see it does make sense, this interference pattern that they get.
So you set it up, right?
Effect. It is basically a triangular glass prism.
What's that?
You set this clip up, right? That Bob hit pause.
Well, I think we just played a gap that...
Oh, you're still on Bob's?
Yeah.
Okay, because you still have the actual video, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you set that up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now pay attention here. Bob's going to cut in, and he's going to say, we don't need to know any more of this. Just keep waiting for that section.
Drilled tubular cavities. This is a cathode. Its function is to emit photons, which are minute particles of light. There are two anodes, which are of opposite electrical polarity to the cathode. A large potential difference is maintained between the cathode and both anodes, which causes the photons to be powerfully attracted towards the anodes. The potential difference between the cathode and each of the anodes is the same, and so the photons are equally attracted to both. The light therefore divides, approximately half of it travelling clockwise and half anti-clockwise. The drilled tubular cavities are filled with a helium and neon gas mixture. This acts as a conducting medium, and so the light is channeled down these specific paths. One of the defining characteristics of lasers is that they produce what is known as coherent light, that is, light at a single frequency. Normal light, such as sunlight or light from an electric bulb, is usually known as white light, but it actually contains all the colours of the visible spectrum, which are all at different...
I just wanted to say something too. When the sun goes down, it sort of does make us understand that when the sun is setting, it turns red, and then it goes a yellowish color, and then that green, right? Remember Nathan Thompson tried to act like that was a big mystery?
Mm-hmm.
This diagram here explains it.
From frequencies. Laser light is not like this. It is one color only, usually a kind of pinkish orange, and each beam has only one frequency. The continuous circulation of the light in each direction has an amplifying action which builds up to a saturation point. At this point, standing waves form. When this happens, it is called lasing. This lasing can only occur.
Okay, so this really is not important for you to understand, but it is outlining some of the problems that they have with the lasing causing a locking effect of the fiber optic gyro or ring laser gyro.
That's
and
right.
they actually cure this problem by a process known as dithering. But again, that is not something you need to understand. You're certainly welcome to go and research it, but that
We did.
Yeah, we did.
So all we did is just looked up the rest of this video here, the ATPL Training Flight Instruments number 38. And here it is. So
You got to go back to 548, I think.
well, I jumped it ahead a little bit, unless if you think people need to see all that. I think the explanation is sort of right in this section.
Go back maybe 30 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll go back to here.
Yeah. And regular speed. This is really important for everyone to pay attention to. Please.
Troughs. As seen from above, it will look like this.
Those are wave
Now
patterns.
imagine that two bricks are dropped into the pond simultaneously. The wave pattern will look like this. Here are the peaks and troughs. Now imagine that this is light, not water. Where two peaks meet, there is a build-up of intensity, and in between, it is darker. Now let the light fall onto a screen. We get a pattern like this.
You see that?
Yeah. This is really important, people, to pay attention to. The pattern is going to tell us what's going on.
It's a static pattern.
It's stationary.
It's not moving. But watch what happens if there's a rotation.
If it's moving.
With two light sources at the same frequency and phase, the pattern remains static. But if the frequencies alter, the pattern moves.
Right there.
The direction and rate of pattern movement are a measure of the aircraft's rotation direction and rate.
So that's literally what's happening on the sensor. If there's no movement, the pattern's sitting there static. But if you turn it to the right, at a certain speed, that pattern's going to move, to the right at a certain speed. If you turn it to the left, the pattern's going to move to the left at a certain speed, however much you turn it.
And that solely depends that aircraft is flying over a stationary fixed plane. That
Yes.
would not work or underneath a moving spinning ball.
The laser gyro contains a photoelectric detector. It can tell if the interference pattern is static, and if it is moving, it can detect the direction and rate of rotation.
But guess what
One
happens?
problem associated with the ring laser gyro is called laser lock. The two laser beams can synchronize, and, if this happens, they give zero output even when the aircraft is altering its attitude. A piezoelectric dither motor there
Did Bob talk about dithering?
Yes.
All right. This is what he didn't want to talk about.
therefore provides a constant input of vibration at a known frequency, which prevents laser lock. The same signal also has to be sent to the computer to tell it to ignore the introduced vibration and simply measure the difference between the dither motor input and the laser gyro output, which is the desired measure of angular rotation.
You hear that?
Which is the desired angular rotation, right?
There it is.
So the dithering of these, it needs a computer, and based on how it's set, you can achieve your desired amount. Let's hear it again.
Ignore the introduced vibration and simply measure the difference between the dither motor input and the laser gyro output, which is the desired measure of angular rotation.
So this is something that's added. The dithering motor is an added signal. And Bob doesn't want you to know about that. No, like the chat's been saying, no gyro has ever shown angular rotation. Earth is not moving. If this were to pick up 15 degrees adrift, and this is on an airplane, that would mean that every 4 hours, or all these instruments and planes and everything would be constantly be going. It would be showing rotation because Earth's supposedly moving, right? If the plane's just sitting on the tarmac, wouldn't all these sensors be picking up the 15-degree rotation? But Bob says, no, this is adjusted for because of the ether. There's no ether. Nothing's moving. Anything else you want to add on that, brother? Look up ring laser gyroscopes, people. This is not going to measure Earth's drift. Nobody has ever measured Earth's movement. It's never happened. Bob didn't do it. We lose you, brother?
Yeah, they can measure a completely static pattern. But again, we're getting this schematic representation again with no...
What's that?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. It's everyone can do their own research. It talks about laser lock in the second paragraph there.
Yeah. The dithering, it's...
No inherent drift. The laser locks because it sits stationary, right? Compared to the conventional spinning gyroscope, this means there is no friction, which in turn means there will be no inherent drift. That's why they use it, because it's the most static, stationary.
Yeah. No drift. Yeah, Bob says there's drift. Well, he also says that he witnessed a 24-hour up sun. He's the only person that supposedly, well, a couple of people have said that they've done that, but there's no footage of it.
I don't know if any other people have said they've been within the Arctic circles. But maybe the one guy that went down to the Antarctica.
Well, D. Marble.
But D. Marble never went into the Arctic Circle.
Okay.
But he tried to fake it like he was. But again, this is a tool that relies on its stability in actually remaining a rigid, stationary position. And Bob is saying he used that to prove that the Earth is drifting. It's such a contradiction. And I don't know how the people that are watching don't understand what he's trying to do here.
Well, we got some more contradictions coming.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it seemed like he was just basically making, a speech about how they need to step up and be stewards of in good faith for the flat earthers. But it was so clearly all part of the movie script. I mean, it's just that's what it's for. And again, I have to give credit to somebody who makes a good movie. And if I was somebody who was completely disconnected from flat Earth and I had no stake in the game, and I was cruising through Netflix and stumbled upon that documentary and watched it, I don't think that there's any way I'd be honest if I said that I wouldn't say, hey, that was a decent movie. That was a good movie.
Good movie.
Jared thinks it's good movie. Good movie.
Good movie. He said good movie.
It's visually pleasing. It has funny parts. Some of the little cartoons they draw are better than I
boy,
can
is
do.
flat Earth stupid.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You got some guy that's supposedly flat earther shouting out that flat Earth's stupid. Boy, it's stupid, huh?
John, the one thing about it, though, is that I do think it will do more damage than good. It's just like this article the other day that I saw on whatever.
He just literally spoke from his mouth and then out his butt in less than a minute.
Yeah, I think it's good, but I think it's going to do more damage than good.
just said, it's good. People are going to stumble upon it. It's beautifully made. He said, beautiful.
But it's going to do more damage than good.
Now it's going to do damage.
A site that was, maybe it was on the Independent, something like that, about flat Earth and what a joke it is. But the very image that they used, the first image that they showed, was an image of a plane going around a globe, and then next to it, a plane going around a flat Earth. And then the whole argument, don't get me wrong, the whole article is anti-flat Earth and saying we pay Logan Paul, et cetera, et cetera. But what they failed to realize about that one image is it was that one image of the azimuthal equidistant map that clicked a switch for me. That really flipped me from.
Yeah, the impossible Freemason model that you've been pushing from the get-go.
Discredit the Bible and the flat Earth, and you've been working your butt off to do it.
Being the Jesuit that you are, hating the Bible, hating true Christianity, not speaking about the Creator.
Going from telling my wife that she's crazy for saying, do you think there's a chance the Earth could be flat, to seeing that map and going, oh my God, planes can go around a flat Earth. And so I think same thing with this movie is that people may think that it's going to cause damage to flat Earth. I don't think so.
No,
Aaron, you are an absolute. Your words, they just hang you. You're hanging, bro. What is wrong with this guy's mind? This is witchcraft.
Yep. Flip back and forth 3 times in this minute.
You're absolutely right, and I 100% agree that no publicity is bad publicity.
John.
And even if you get, let's just say, per 100.
No, and this right here is one of the worst shill lines ever. This thinking that publicity, any publicity is good publicity. These idiots have never ever had a business. If somebody's ever had a business, bad publicity destroys your business.
Kills you. In Home Depot, when they started in Canada, they would accept tools from other Canadian Tire is a store we have with similar stuff. They would return and give you money back for their store without even their products, because they taught me, because I sold carpet there. I was a carpet installer when I was in my late teens. They told me that every bad customer is like $100,000 to $200,000 of instantly taken away from lifetime gains in the company. Each bad person, each bad customer causes hundreds of thousands of losses.
Well, I mean,
let alone a documentary on Netflix.
I'm a remodeler, builder. If I build something that leaked or fell apart or anything like that, it would ruin my reputation and I'd be shot. A restaurant that has one bad customer,
someone gets sick and dies, right?
They put a review online, it ruins the business.
Yep.
One bad review.
Rip-off report, right? Jaron has actually, I believe, been on the rip-off reports, but he's still going. He's still going.
They want this bad publicity. They're out to get it.
People that see that, 1 or 2 people act
is outlining some of the problems.
You went way past it, but I don't know. Might be there.
Much it is to put a movie on iTunes, but I'm assuming it's you make a pretty large percentage of each.
Don't want to miss this.
Hero, man.
Yeah. You know how is the difficult here to survive, man. At least $10 will be enough.
Yeah. Much it is to put a movie on iTunes, but I'm assuming it's you make a pretty large percentage of each one that's downloaded. So I have no idea how many times that's been downloaded from there. And then with Netflix, I'm assuming that it would just be Netflix buys the outright rights to it. But I'm not sure.
Maybe. Yeah, here in Argentina, at least I have a friend that he made just a comic history, a comic movie, and it's on Netflix, but the contract was like I'm going to promote your work for 2 years and you must be wait 2 years until receive any penny. And
Hero is actually saying that Daniel Clark didn't get paid for his documentary. Nobody's made any money, people. Let's not get carried away. Nobody got paid.
Nobody got paid. It's on Netflix, it's on iTunes, it's on
Amazon. Nobody got paid.
This is all out of
what a cuck.
The love of everybody's heart trying to help Flat Earth. That's what Daniel was doing, right?
I don't know which is the case in this documentary or movie of the flat earther. And
popularscience.com article, popsci.com article, where there's a list of like, I don't know, 10 or 20 things.
I don't know where.
And you're, even if you get, let's just say, per 100 people that see that, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where you were.
Okay.
People actually go and look into this further, then yeah, absolutely, they're going to come out the other end of that as flat earthers. And it's just, I guess that's part of the nature of this beast that we're just going to have to deal with is, getting our messages twisted and everything.
1 out of 100.
Right, that's what sucks. But then I just got to keep doing what I've always done, right? Put out videos. Hopefully somebody hears my name in that movie and then goes and checks my channel and sees all the evidence and then realizes, oh, and then doing videos like this, or I'll have to do one this week where I just do a quick commentary on it, because yeah, a lot of people have started messaging me. I'm getting text messages from people saying, "Hey, saw you in this movie," whereas before they weren't even interested in what I was doing at all. These are former friends of mine, people that I haven't talked to in years, and I've had my channel up forever.
Let's go to the next clip.
Jaren's victimizing.
But, that's why we do what we do, right, guys? Just call them out, show this every single day, show the proofs to the contrary. And like I said, I could give a flip about convincing the trolls of what's going on. They're irrelevant. That's why I don't acknowledge them. That's why I delete their comments. I don't care what they say. I don't. Because I know that there are still enough critical thinking people out there that can listen to what we're presenting and use their own discernment, use their own abilities. And if they truly are interested, they're going to pursue it and do their own investigations. And that is exactly what we want people to do. We don't want people to take what we say sight unseen. Jaren and I have said that from day one.
What?
Our goal here is to provoke thought and critical thinking, and that is why we do what we do. So as far as any trolls coming here, writing in the comments trying to convince me of others, or others in the comment section, knock yourself out. But I'm just going to delete them. I do. I always have. I always will, and I make no compunctions about it. I don't care what the trolls have to say. I just don't. So all right, moving on. So we've got this.
Well, the trolls, keep in mind, are anybody that brings up that he says in the documentary that he measured 15 degrees of rotation, right? It's anybody that contradicts them, that message he's going to delete. And well, you can just, it makes sense. They're just shilling.
This new video that Dr. John D has done this week, and it's brilliant because he did this basically to supplement something that Nathan Oakley has been saying a million times, and we have too. I mean, it's not just Nathan, it's several people in the community, is that you simply cannot have a pressurized system adjacent to a back.
I'm sick of the pressure.
Next link. Well, that's it. There were some stuff that we missed.
Yeah.
I think I had a link.
Okay.
Yeah, they also talk about, how somebody shared this with us. We reported on this last week that the moon is way closer than what they said. We've been saying that the longest. They knew that the Daniel Clark and that woman that had made the hit piece against Sandy Hook, they could have researched her name. They state that they didn't, and it's pretty much, evidence that that they lied, really. They said that they didn't do the research until after. Let's hear what this clip is.
As to what exactly I found, what exactly Jaren found, and we of what's going on. They're irrelevant. That's why I don't acknowledge them. That's why I delete their comment. Water in a swimming pool. Number. It's a huge number for a.
I don't know if you.
Kind of you're turning in a circle, and like you said, John, it's a radius of a circle.
Out flat Earth.
We didn't talk about. Bob is now campaigning the community that he's been approached by Label One to do a documentary again.
Yeah,
we didn't go.
He's ready. And he's been told by people in the community, right, that it is a good idea. Just be careful this next time. Don't be such a sucker.
Yeah, sign something that says you have executive rights over the editing.
No,
things around it. Now, obviously, my first thought is, are you freaking kidding me? There's no way I'm going to do this. But I talked to some other people in the community, and surprisingly, the response is that, what you should try and do is if you do something like this, see if you can make it a contractual obligation or part of the contractual agreement that I would either get like the ability to, you know, control the editing on what is presented about me in particular, or you know, overall what is presented in this. And yeah, go ahead, Earl.
No, just a quick advice, because the last like 4 times that some journalists interview me for making an article, I ask him if is no trouble in record the complete interview. So I mean,
exactly.
If you're gonna make something like that, just ask.
Did you hear anything what he just said? I'm sorry.
No.
That just put it in, you know, in case.
Exactly. And in fact, when the Guardian was here, we had lots of
again, Bob on mainstream media, but he's not a Satanist or working with the beast.
Well, let's listen to what he says here. When the Guardian was there, he's going to say that everybody was filming to make sure that nothing was taken out of context, right?
That's correct.
Lots of people at the house, and they were all recording it, right? In case there was any major hit piece that we could go back and say, look what they actually did. So yes, that was suggested that, you know, if I did something like this to record the whole thing also.
And then Jaron, when he did his experiment for the mockumentary, not one bit of recording was done. Not one.
Maybe,
just totally let it up to the documentary people.
Yeah, you know, I think Flat Earth Reset, I do think I saw a video with you exposing that the document producer woman was actually in the hit piece against Sandy Hook. I do remember you releasing that, and I think MGTV as well. That was good work.
Also, to see if we could build it in to a contract, you know, and also, you know, explain to them what the whole deal was, you know, show them what behind the curve. And like I said, surprisingly, a lot of flat earthers are saying, yeah, you probably should do it, but try and do it, you know, with these caveats. So what I'm asking for from our audience, and believe me, I have not even responded to this guy yet. And like I said, my first initial impression was like, are you kidding me?
Where's the email, Bob? You never have any evidence.
But a lot of people seem to think it's a good idea. So I want to hear from the people, you know, our audience.
Well, it looks like Bob is campaigning to label one, and he's trying to get popular demand to help push the issue through. It's obvious. And what is he going to do? He's going to get 200 fake bot accounts that he pays for, that Jaron pays for. Jaron is a scammy schemer from Bitcoin days. He knows what he's doing on bots and computers. Jaron's not an idiot when it comes to that. He just plays dumb. But they're going to have loaded comments down here. Guaranteed. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, you should do the interview. That would be awesome, Bob. You're the best.
Yeah, all publicity is good publicity. This time they won't be able to make a hit piece against you.
What do you think? Should I do something like this? If I do something like this, what type of conditions should I do? Or should I just tell them to go, you know, F themselves? You know, which I have no problem doing, believe me.
But here's another point to consider as well. If the producer knows ahead of time that you're going to be recording the whole thing as well, that may actually prevent them from going way off, you know, off the rails with the way that it's presented. Just knowing.
Okay, this is where they're trying to witchcraft you into not believing, again, that the things that they said and did wasn't taken out of context. It was staged. They literally acted. Jaron went out there, ooh, interesting. You know, I can't see the light. Can you shine the light and then lift the light over your head? Oh, we see the light. Interesting. Yeah, like that. They didn't cut Jaron's words up there.
That was nothing natural about that. That was his line that he delivered.
And Bob literally was hot mic'd. Oh, if this gets out into the flat earth, it's going to be a big downfall. And then he goes on to say, we came out on Globebusters and fully explained it all when he said nothing. He said, you have to wait until Denver. This is all classified, top secret, in a document that's going to be on Netflix. He said it all. And guess what? That video, gone. Because I put a thing out. I said, you know, let's see who can come up with the part where Bob talks about the documentary. And all of his videos are on private.
That, you know, you
Go ahead.
could come back and
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
and show exactly what they did to to misrepresent you.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously,
and this kind of things at the point that we are, it's necessary because if you make just statistics, the complete world is still a heliocentric believer. So we don't have nothing to lose. It's like Jenan says before. I mean, if the Netflix documentary or movie brings 2 people to the flat Earth, it's worth it. Of course, you're gonna have your own problems because you arrange something that then the producer doesn't take into account and all that kind of things. But if you can do all this just contract or you can protect yourself for the deception, you go ahead. I made a few interviews that I comment the last show that's going to be in open TV, in public TV in Argentina, and I make that kind of things to prevent me from deception.
Yeah. Yeah, and a few other people told me that too. Some other individuals I talked to said that they were recently interviewed by TV stations in their country, and they were actually able to get them to agree contractually to what actually got aired. Now, I don't know if I could actually pull that off with Label One, but it is something that I could at least protect myself, like you said. But, a part of me, like I said, a part of me feels like, wow, once bitten, twice shy. But on the other hand, this is another opportunity to get Flat Earth out there. And like I said, even looking at Behind the Curve in retrospect, at this point, I'm thinking that especially the desperation that has been showed by the Globe Earthers, this is something that I think is a good thing, honestly, at this point. So,
Wow.
That's why I'm asking for the community's thoughts on this. And believe me, I will weigh each and every opinion very carefully before I decide, what I'm going to do on this. But just thought I'd throw it out there. So there you have it.
How about these community thoughts?
Let's get rid of Label One and I.
Go ahead.
How about these community thoughts? You sold out Flat Earth. You've got to go. The Globebusters, the whole AE mappa model, that whole shill COINTEL satanic group, got to go.
Yeah.
No more.
We don't want you to go and do another hit piece documentary with BBC now. You've done enough. You've done enough. This isn't going to be any better. This is going to be worse. It looks like they've gone and attacked schools. They've got some weird. The landmark documentary series follows unprecedented detail through tough decisions head teachers must make and their dramatic impact on students. The inner workings of the systems of teachers differ between a huge number of pupils. It's just like superb viewing. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near this company.
Well, just that tagline at the top, we make big scale, popular, factual television. I mean, anybody that's a truther understands that we don't get factual television. That doesn't exist. And the BBC is one of the worst, if not the worst. I mean,
yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
So I just want to draw this all to a head because these guys just want to keep running this off. Like here they're doing damage control and already selling Bob being in another documentary.
At the same time.
At the
you
same
see the
time.
witchcraft? That's such witchcraft.
It's unbelievable. So I am praying that there are actual flat earthers out there that understand that they've been sold out by these AE map modelers, actual truthers out there that we need to either get our hands on a ring laser gyro or a fiber optic gyro, and we need to see for ourselves that there's actually 15 degrees of drift. But what I really think should happen is that if Bob, the Globebusters, Jaron, this FE core, if they actually are truthers, they should lend us theirs. They should provide us with the ring laser gyros so that we can actually document and verify this 15 degrees of drift.
Yes, that's an amazing point that you bring up. That's probably the most important thing that we've heard tonight. I just want the call out to the community is let's try to verify and document, live stream, photograph, write down, log, actually get one of these measuring tools and do the experiment and watch the readout. We don't even know how this device even read out to Bob. We don't have one piece. And see, that's the thing. All the evidence that Bob brought up tonight, back his experiment, all of this had no evidence, right? They simply stated that this was the conclusion. It was the exact conclusion that they set out to prove.
And they're going to this magical ether that they've just fabricated.
Heavenly luminaries.
Yeah, Earth is stationary, and what we see moving are the luminaries.
Here's the test. At least Bob brought it up. This is the one that they did that showed that the stars were the ones that were moving. There was no ether. The Earth wasn't moving, right? They tilted the telescope, the kaleidoscope, or what they were reading from, and they filled it up with water. And when they then measured the stars, if they came down in an angle like this while they were moving, they knew that the Earth was stationary, right? And if it was like this, they had to tilt to get the stars to line up. Then it was the Earth that was moving. And this experiment was pretty much done. It completely contradicts his other experiments.
There's no motion other than the motion of the stars. And that doesn't mean an ether. And that doesn't mean geocentrism. Like, they just take it off into so many rabbit holes, lies, deception. It's sick.
Yeah, this test here proved that the Earth was stationary and the stars were moving. Literally, they were looking at the stars. They weren't measuring anything. As per the ground's movement, they were focused on the stars. And it says down here that, it was the ether that was moving across the surface of the Earth, 1 rotation per day. That's the stationary tubes told us that it was the sky that was revolving. And, there's so much more in this hangout. I hope other people go through this and pick it apart. They then go on to talk about the discovery that we showed everybody, because we've been saying for over 3 years now that there's been clouds behind the sun and the moon, and you can film the moon and you'll see in the daytime that the part of the moon that's not illuminated is blue, like the atmosphere. So now they're saying that the atmosphere extends out like 500 million miles or something, right? Bob was covering it. Then Bob actually, what I was shocked to see, I guess they wanted to support Marty Leeds 33 again, who Dean O'Dell called out as he's a Gnostic Kabbalist that practices witchcraft. Marty Leeds 33. They call out that he was on the SGT report, and on the SGT report, he brought up the Strange Truth Project, and that is the actual flat Earth documentary, the best document.
Best documentary
of all time.
Yes. That actually within it, in that documentary, it's explained to you that the AE map and model is impossible, and that the correct working map and model is provided by Beyond Flat Earth, or the Limitless Channel and Awake Souls. That's in the documentary. It's actually in it.
I guess Greg saying the drift is 12.2 to 16 degrees per hour, not a constant 15 degrees. Well, the drift should change depending on your latitude, right?
Yeah.
So you're wrong, Greg. And the stars are what move, right?
Yep.
But yeah, so he brought up the SGT report because SGT has 537,000 views, even though SGT actually overstood both of them. As a non-flat earther, SGT, I think his name is Sean, absolutely stood over these two guys like they were just junk. He showed the NASA documents that prove that all their simulations are run over a derivation and plans over a flat and stationary Earth. And he also brought up some stuff with the moon. That's the I can't remember which part, but that was again huge shout out to SGT report. He went on to share this again the next day. He didn't share these two guys, but he brought up again with his next video. Please research the Strange Truth Project, and he showed it again.
And you wanna since you got the screen share, you want to show people where they can find the Strange Truth Project?
It's on your channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find it. I was going to re-upload it. I downloaded it, but you can go to Awake Souls. It's right here. Winner of the Best Truth documentary. I can't speak. It's just incredible tonight. The amount of wizardry, not witchcraft. The amount of witchcraft.
You had it.
Is beyond. Oh, and look, like even in this documentary,
the water level experiment.
Yeah, the water level. So there's probably, I'm going to say, a group of people that have either done this. Military could be the people that could do this, or someone else will do it because he shared it. And this video has like 5 million views, if not more. Right? It is the leading flat Earth documentary in views. Yeah. Right?
It's the most watched video on Celebrate Truth.
Yeah, he shows, how if the Earth was moving and planes were flying, this would make it absolutely impossible to land any other way than with the rotation of the Earth. This is full, it's got the gyro. He did a great job, David V. He's got, look at this clip here. What are those? So that's one thing I wanted to bring up before we close out tonight. That is some beautiful clouds behind the sun footage, which I also have Derek. I wanted to show a bit of his footage. Everybody make sure you sub to him. Check it out. Join his Facebook group. I think I have links. I don't know if he left the link, but there will be a link in the description below after. There's his footage of Z Proxy. Check out this footage. It's not bad. So you're going to clearly see, there's different layers here.
Oh, yeah. And that bird flew across the face of the sun and wasn't overexposed. You could
wasn't blasted out of view, right?
Yep, you can still see it.
Again.
And
look at the clouds behind.
Yeah, every time a bird goes over the face of the sun, that destroys their whole argument that this is just overexposed.
It's blasting out. The light is so bright that it blasts out the clouds, except for these clouds. And it's too bad that he stops the clip here. This is the money shot.
It is.
But, he lost it. But so basically everybody, I have to really continue to say that the witchcraft that Jaron and Bob and the rest of their team continue to put out is pathetic. And, I rebuke all of their lies and deception. And I pray in the name of Yahawashi that the truth seekers have their eyes opened to this deception, that these guys can't simply get away with it without having their credibility tarnished, because I believe in a just creator who sees things truthfully and who will honor his righteous followers. And I do believe that Bob and Jaron and all these people have, I bring the attention for the creator to move his will upon this creation. And if he wants to see them continue on to damnation, let it be so. But, if we could stop, change, pull one person away from this, I pray in the name of the creator, Yahawashi, that, he brings those people out of these liars and deceivers, brother. And that's my ultimate goal is just to show people that there are some wicked people out here that really, really want to deceive you.
Yeah. Well, I say it's time that we either get our own ring laser, gyro, whatever, and do the experiment ourselves, or force them to do it where we actually get to see the results. Let us use the laser if you guys are for truth, right?
Yeah, they can send it to you, right? You'll sign off on it.
Yeah, and they can have it back, but we want to document it and we'll do it the proper way. We'll have it live streamed. We'll have all the results. Everybody can be involved. This won't be a hidden thing in the way these Freemason shills do it.
Yeah, they don't do anything. They just lie about it. It's all a thought experiment. And he even said throughout the hangout, we're only here to create a thought in your mind. Right. And then the other thing that we didn't show is that Bob and them went on after all of that to show you that 70% of science is made up.
Yeah.
So you guys
yeah, faked results. So that was mockery.
Mockery, straight up, in your face, tongue out, Baphomet sign, Nathan Thompson, weird K, Baphomet sign, right in your face. But yeah, so as well, they're going to be re-airing their 4 years of Globebusters starting on Wednesday nights, but it doesn't bother me one bit. In fact, we should probably move our Sunday show. We should move it right to 3:30 Eastern when they start, or 3:00 Eastern, just to show them I don't care. We can run right along. You guys could live stream 24. They have a 24/7 live stream. Globebusters can regurgitate the same NASA BS over and over again, and we're going to continue to share the truth with the world for free. And that's what it's.
Yeah, we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going until they're gone. That's for sure.
Well, hopefully there's more people out there. I want to see more people out there putting their thoughts. If you guys want to stand with Bob and Jaron and allow them to continue to make hit pieces against the flat earth, go right ahead. But I'm really praying and hoping that I see other people stand up and take the gauntlet here from Jason and I, because we're just two guys. We're just humble guys that want to serve the truth. And I want to see other people out here fighting, because it can't just be me and Jason.
Yeah, why are we the only ones that have complained about this mockumentary? Why?
Let's see what happens in the upcoming weeks, brother. We could have gone 4 hours, 5 hours breaking down every part of what they tried to do today, but we trust that you guys have seen enough and that you'll do your own research. You know how they always say, don't trust anything we say, right?
Oh, just understand the witchcraft, that it's they say one thing, then they absolutely contradict themselves within a couple sentences. It's insane.
Well said, brother. Hopefully we get some more comments, and yeah, things have been moving up too, like a little bit more participation from the community, and I'd like to see more of that. A lot of trolls too, like crazy. Bob proved the earth's moving, flat earth is dumb, or you guys are, look how pathetic flat earth is, like the flat earthers are debunking other flat earthers, and it's like nobody has any evidence of anything.
Mm-mm. All right, well, I guess that's probably it for tonight. We'll be back Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central. And brother, where did you hear this?
Only beyond flat earth.